Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another live iThemes training event. My name is Nathan Ingram. I am the host here at iThemes Training, and today we are talking about a very popular topic, which is using AI in WordPress. It's like all of a sudden, everybody is talking about AI in the last few months. It's everywhere, and there are lots of WordPress tools that have been developed to take advantage of some of the new AI tools like ChatGPT. That are out there and available for us to use. Absolutely amazing tools, and we have a lot to talk about today. So let me give you a few bits of introduction before we get started. Just a few housekeeping notes. If you're just joining us in Zoom, pop open the chat, and you will see a link right there for the handout, which you are looking at on your screen, as well as the link to view the replay. And that link, about an hour after we wrap up or so, we'll have the replay video up, as well as a link to the chat log. Anything that's shared in the chat will be available to you, as well as the live transcript, which you can open up and view now if you'd like to, as we are talking through this incredibly interesting subject of AI. If you are viewing this on the replay, you can click the download handout button, which is just below the video, and you can grab this PDF that has lots of links and things that I'm sharing on my screen now. So I'm going to share that once again as our attendee number continues to tick up. Yeah, there is the link to today's handout. If you have questions throughout today's webinar, just be aware this is one of our larger webinars we've had in a while. Lots of folks are logged in, and that's super exciting. A lot of folks from all over the globe are logged in for this webinar. Use, please, the Q&A link in the Zoom toolbar. So if you mouse over the shared screen, you should see that Zoom toolbar. Click the Q&A, and that will pop open a window for you to see the questions that are active. And I would encourage you just to keep that open, because if someone has a question that you would also like to see the answer to, just click the thumbs up icon, which is underneath that question. And when we get to the time of Q&A at the end, then I will answer the questions that are stacked up there in the order of their upvotes. It's important to go ahead and get those questions in and upvote the ones that you like, because in a busy webinar like this, chances are we will probably have more questions than I have time to answer today in our roughly hour or so together. So again, if you're just joining us in Zoom, glad you're here. I'm going to share one more time the link to today's handout and the link to the replay with the resources that'll be available about an hour after we finish. It is there waiting on you. All right. So, and please, if you would, please keep the questions focused on the topic of today, so that we don't have a lot of extra things happening with lots of folks joining on this webinar. So lots going on. If you are an iThemes Training member, we can certainly delve into some of the little rabbit trails about AI tomorrow during office hours. But I'm going to try to keep the topic focused today on what we're covering in the handout. Paul, this is a live webinar. At least if you're watching it live. If it's a replay, then it's a replay. But I am indeed a real person and not some AI generated whatever. So, all right. So let's talk about using AI in WordPress. 2023 is already something like the year of AI in WordPress. We see it everywhere. It's all over tech news sites. People in WordPress communities are talking about it. WordPress Facebook groups are talking about it. It's really amazing, some of the things that you can do both inside of WordPress and outside of WordPress and other tools that you can then bring into WordPress. So lots of amazing things that you can start to do with this new power of artificial intelligence. So our goal today is to take a look at a few of the top AI tools that are available today, and several free WordPress plugins that can help you generate better content and maybe streamline your workflow just a little bit. So really all of this AI conversation, AI, by the way, has been around for a while. There have been some well-known, well-used WordPress plugins like Bertha.ai that many folks have used for quite a while. AI is nothing new. So why is it that AI is all of a sudden everywhere when you start looking at tech news? And it's really all about ChatGPT. So the conversation has turned to AI overnight, and it's because of ChatGPT, which was released back on November the 30th of last year. So if it seems like in the last 3 months, everybody has started talking about AI, this is why, because about 3 months ago, ChatGPT was released to the public. And it is absolutely an amazing tool if you have played around with it at all. Now, ChatGPT, it uses the OpenAI's GPT 3.5 model. Now, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformers. So it's a language model that is iterating. There's actually a GPT-4 that is now out, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit as well. If you want to learn more and geek out about OpenAI and their ChatGPT, there's a great page on Wikipedia to learn all of the things. So ChatGPT is a product of OpenAI. Now, OpenAI was founded back in 2015 as a research lab by Elon Musk and several others. And their mission is to promote friendly AI in a way that benefits humanity as a whole. So OpenAI has partnerships with huge tech companies like Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, and IBM. And ChatGPT itself, like any AI, it has to be trained. Information has to be fed into it so it knows, how to process, how to do some artificial thinking. And it was trained on a diverse range of texts from all sorts of genre, from technical data to literature to all sorts of things. So they trained it from text from the internet, and it can generate human-like text responses in various styles like conversational or storytelling. It can even generate code that's pretty darn close to what it should be. We're going to give some examples of that later on in the webinar today. Now, ChatGPT, the model that ChatGPT was used to train on, which is the GPT 3.5, the training was cut off at the end of 2021. So as far as ChatGPT is concerned, that's it. Like, there's nothing that it's aware of that has happened past 2021. It's not aware of anything afterwards. It is not perfect. And they even say themselves, it can generate errors. It can create nonsensical responses. So it is important to review, the output before you start to use it in some, public way. ChatGPT is the fastest. This is amazing. It is the fastest growing consumer application in history. No other software application has gotten as many users as ChatGPT. 100 million monthly active users within 2 months of launch. That is absolutely amazing. In January, it had 13 million unique visitors per day in January of 2023. Absolutely amazing. So just to give you some comparison, TikTok, which was the previous fastest growing consumer application, took 9 months to do what ChatGPT did in 2 months. Instagram took 2.5 years. So 13 million unique visitors per day. Absolutely mind-blowing. So let's take a quick poll in the chat. How many of you have used ChatGPT, even just played around with it? Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? How many of you? So a lot of no's. That's interesting. So if you've never seen this before, you, my friends, are going to be absolutely blown away because it's amazing. It really is. So I'm going to give you a few examples of some things I've been doing with ChatGPT that have been helpful. So I just want to get right into this and show you what it can do. So for copywriting, for example, how many times have you sat down and thought about how you're going to word an email? Or maybe you get some stuff down and it's not quite what you want. It's a beautiful way. It's a beautiful application of ChatGPT is to paste in an existing bit of copy and say, edit this, or make this more succinct, or, make it in more of a funny style or a more serious tone, that sort of thing. So here's an example of something I did. Now, thankfully, ChatGPT is available right now and it's working. I was really concerned about this because I really wanted to show this live on today's webinar, and I have no control over, whether it was going to be available or not. So first example here is a vacation message that I wrote and sent to clients before the end of the year holiday. So this was the prompt. Can y'all see this? Let me see if maybe I can zoom in. Ah, yes, there we go. Write an email to my clients that says we'll be closed between December 24th and January 2. And if they have questions, they can email us at support@brilliantly.net, but that we will only be dealing with emergency responses while we're closed. Everything else will be dealt with when we open. That's what I told it to write. Boom. Dear valued clients, we want you to know our offices are closed for the holiday season. If you have any urgent questions, please email us. We'll do our best to address any emergencies. Note that we'll only be dealing with emergency responses when we're closed. Everything else, January the 3rd. Hope you have a wonderful holiday season, et cetera, et cetera. Not bad, right? Pretty good. I mean, with that prompt, amazing. Now, here's where it gets fun, because this is like an ongoing conversation with ChatGPT. So the next prompt was, change this to a playful tone. Hi there, ho, ho, ho. Just wanted to drop you a quick note to let you know our offices are taking a well-deserved break for the holidays. Closed here, there. Don't worry, we're checking our support. While we're on vacation mode, only dealing with emergency responses. So if you have any hope you have a fantastic holiday season filled with laughter, joy, and plenty of time with your loved ones. Cheers, whatever. Pretty cool, right? So let's refine it again. Can you start with a cheesy joke that's internet related? Sure, here's a cheesy joke to start off with. Why did the internet cross the road? To get to the other side of the cloud. Now it's cheesy. It's pretty bad, but it did what I asked, right? Now on to the main message, and there it is, same one. So this was actually done, a couple of months ago. It's still open, and I can even now go back and write it again. So John said, how about a dad joke for a 5-year-old? Let's try. Okay, try opening with a dad joke instead. So it remembers this conversation. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. So bad. All right. So it gave me what I asked for, right? So what if I wanted it to say, let's stop that. Let's say, change the text so that it is in bullet points rather than paragraph. Because people read bullet points, right? Look at that. Absolutely amazing. So y'all, this is a very simple thing that ChatGPT can do. And think about how much time that can solve you. Like, you might spend, if you're like me, you would probably sit there and write something and then tinker with it and tinker with it and tinker with it. And 20 or 30 minutes later, you finally send the message. But good grief, this just did it, right? Like, here's the details, spit it out, and then refine it and do something else, right? It's incredible what it can do. And remember, this was something I started back in December, and it remembered the conversation. It keeps a running history of your conversations, and you can go back and just jump right back into that conversation. And yes, there's no public paid plan. There is a beta paid plan they're testing, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. And this is just my point is, this is all on the free level with Open ChatGPT. It's absolutely amazing. So, all right, there's one example of the vacation message. All right, now, how many of you were with us on the Cloudflare webinar last week? This was one of our more popular webinars recently. It was a free one. And, I had lots of requests to show me, how can we set up Cloudflare for our WordPress website? So guess what I did the very first thing when I was, planning to do this? Create an outline for a 60-minute lesson, how to use the free level of Cloudflare. Should start with what is Cloudflare and what does it do? Highlight the free features of Cloudflare, include summary points under each section with a paragraph description. There's the outline. Now, I didn't do exactly this, but isn't this amazing? It outlined with time periods, what it should contain. It was crazy. Okay, but it missed, right? So it missed the paragraph description and with summary points, right? So that's when I came down here, and this is good, but please add a few sentences summary of each outline point. Boom. And it gave me some interesting things here. Not bad. Not bad at all. How about this? What are some good WAF rules for Cloudflare? This it did not do very well. I was hoping for some more specific things, but it just gave some examples, which are not bad. And of course, the little blurb here, review them regularly. So here's just an example idea, right? Of if I were to say, create, or how about write a 300-word blog post about the benefits of free level of Cloudflare. Use bullet points for many items, whatever. I don't know. It can figure that out. So it's thinking, it's thinking, it's thinking. Jeremy, does ChatGPT care if you treat it with kindness? I'm going to give you an example of that in just a minute. So look, there's my title. I just love this. It is absolutely amazing. Now, we're going to talk about Google and AI generated content like this in a minute. Look at this. I've been using this for a while, and I'm constantly blown away by this. I mean, it's pretty darn good right out of the gate. You can tell it to change the tone of the writing. You can, make it whimsical, make it, funny, make it serious. I'm going to give you an example of that in just a minute as well. Isn't this amazing? So I'm going to stop it. So how about another one? Okay. One of my favorite topics here is the LastPass hack, which we've had to deal with at length. In our agency work, we've had a number of webinars about it. And for those of you that are on those webinars, you know that very few things has gotten my blood pressure up like the LastPass whole thing. So how about, here's the original email that I wrote to my clients about potentially some of their passwords being exploited because they were in our LastPass vault. So I wrote this out myself, and then I pasted that. Please edit this email, paste, right? And so this is similar to the email that I gave as a template in the LastPass webinar. So it rewrote it. It made it more succinct. It kind of punched it up in a couple of places. But this is where it got fun. Please make it funny. I hope this email finds you in good spirits and not too freaked out by the recent news of the LastPass. Now, I would never send this, but it's just, what an awesome example of it. It kind of changed the tone to make it funny. However, this was my favorite. Rewrite this like the world is coming to an end. Subject, the end is near. All your passwords may have been compromised. The news is dire and the world as we know it may be coming to an end. LastPass, one of the leading password management platforms, has fallen victim to a sophisticated attack. Blah, 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 blah. Your passwords were encrypted with our 12, however the technology keeps going. The situation is dire and time is running out. Here's what you need to do immediately. Blah, blah, blah. At Brilliant WebWorks, we have always taken data security very seriously, but in this time of chaos and destruction, it's more important than ever. I just love this. The LastPass breach has affected more than 30 million users worldwide, and the end may be near for all of us. If you have questions about our handling of your data, we must work together to ensure that at least some of our precious data will survive this catastrophe. Farewell. That's the icing on the cake for me. I just love this. So this is just an example of, you can start with something and then, tweak it. It's just brilliant how this works. I love it. I absolutely love it. I used it again also about our WordCamp Birmingham, Alabama was last weekend. And we sent out an email to people who had been on our email list and attended previous events about purchasing WordCamp tickets. Right there, right? An email encouraging people to buy tickets. Like, this is it. That's the only prompt I gave it. Go buy tickets for WordCamp Birmingham 2023. It went and figured out what it was. So it is a must-attend event for anyone interested in WordPress and web development. You can learn from industry experts, network, get your questions answered. Don't miss out. Tickets are selling fast. Like, it just made that up. It went out and figured out what the event was and then wrote about, it figured out how to sell the event in an email. So then can you edit this in a quirky, geeky tone? Now, this is where it didn't go so well. Count the number of geeks in this email. Greetings, fellow WordPress geeks. Hope this email finds you well and nerdily excited. I don't know about that. Epic event, take a play, geeky fun, perfect opportunity to level up your WordPress skills. Like-minded geeks, geek out with top experts, whether you're a seasoned WordPress. Don't wait, grab your tickets now, snapped up by some other lucky geek, geekily. There's like 800 geeks in this email. Well, I mean, whatever. Interesting. Wow, that's really a lot of geeks in the copy. Let's just try to make it funny. Maybe start with a WordPress joke. Ready for a laugh? Why did the WordPress developer cross the road? To get to the WordCamp on the other side. I mean, that made me laugh. It just did. Anyway, so you can continue to tweak and you see some examples of that. Isn't that absolutely amazing what it can do? So if you've not started playing with ChatGPT yet, by all means, start playing with ChatGPT. You can, it will make up poems. It will make up song lyrics. Like, this is just scratching the surface of what it can do. I actually told it to, make up a story about how my sister and brother-in-law met, and it just made up this whole story out of, and it was great. Very, very funny. So cool. But isn't Google against AI generated content? That's one of the big questions that's happening today. And my answer to this is no. Google is not against all AI generated content. We covered this story in the WordPress News Roundup last month here on iThemes Training. This story on the Search Engine Roundtable, where it was basically about the discussion in this article happened because Bankrate, which is a major content site in the financial services world, started generating content using AI. And you can even see at the top of some of their articles, this article was generated using automation technology and thoroughly edited and fact-checked by an editor on our editorial staff. So what they're doing at Bankrate, and I would say a lot of other big content sites, it's got to be happening at other places as well, using something like ChatGPT to generate outlines and content, and then have that content edited by a human editor that can fact check and make sure it's all correct and put, fix things that aren't quite correct. But all the time and money that it saves, it's got to be amazing. So Google's guideline is text generated through automated processes without regard for quality or user experience. The issue is not AI generated content. The issue on their own guidelines is automated content that doesn't consider the quality of text or the user experience. Now, you've probably been to sites where you read this and you're like, this is clearly machine generated. It was only generated to cram as many keywords in this as they could just to get hits, so their ad revenues would go up, right? That's what Google is against with this AI text, specifically in their guideline. Now, who knows? Like, Google is very opaque about how they actually apply these rules, but in their own guidelines, it's not just any automated text. It is automated text that has no regard for quality of that text or the user experience. So using something like ChatGPT or other WordPress-based content tools, which we'll have a little bit of time to show later, to generate the content or maybe get you started and then you go through and edit it, like, that does not seem to me to violate Google's guidelines, by the letter of the law that they're publishing. So it's interesting, right? I think we're going to see more and more of this happening in the content world. So how about this? What about using ChatGPT to generate code? Quick poll of the chat. How many of you have used ChatGPT to generate some sort of code? CSS, playing around with some things. Yeah. All right. So for those of you that haven't, prepare to have your mind blown, because this, if you thought if you thought the content generation was amazing, wait till you see the code. Now, let me ask you this. How many of you have gone out and maybe you do a Google search for, find me a code snippet for WordPress that does this? Boom, and there it is. Great. And then, like, you have to figure out, maybe it's not, it's like 90% the way you want it. Then you have to figure out how to do the other thing, and maybe it blows up and whatever. Yeah. ChatGPT will do this for you and generally does a better job at it. So let's just take a quick look. ChatGPT can generate code snippets for many languages, including PHP and jQuery that WordPress uses. It can even generate regular expressions and complicated spreadsheet formulas. It is amazing. So here are some examples. Hide the WordPress admin bar from the front end unless the user is an admin or editor, and then make it a plugin. Let's take a look at the ChatGPT. Let's see if I can find, okay, right here. Let's go to the top. Here's the prompt from a couple months ago when I was playing with this. Write a WordPress function that hides the WordPress admin bar on the front end of the website for all users other than those with the administrator and editor roles. So this is a membership site, and I want to hide the admin bar for a logged in user unless they are an administrator or an editor, right? So that's the prompt. Boom. Here's a function you can add. Okay, so function, if current user can edit post and is admin, show admin bar is false. Now, I'm not a coder, but I can read some PHP and make some sense out of it. Now, when I looked at this, I thought, this is not correct. Because look, that's not right. What this is saying, if the current user can edit posts, that's an editor, and they are an admin, then show admin bar false. So ChatGPT got this wrong. But you have to have enough knowledge of code to know that. Otherwise, you know, this is where a human being still needs to look over ChatGPT's shoulder right now, at least, to know what's going on. So here's what I did next. Oh, by the way, it gives you a little explanation of the code, which is really helpful, by the way. And so my prompt was, okay, doesn't and mean and? It should be or. Oh, you're correct. The code I provided will check and you should use the double pipe for or. Here's the corrected function. If current user can edit posts or current user can manage options. So this is an editor capability. This is an administrator capability. Then show admin bar false. So notice it kind of changed some things. This could have been if current, if is editor or is admin, like you could do it that way as well. So it gives an explanation. Okay. And I said, oh, well, this is not working. There's a problem with this. I apologize. There could be several reasons why. Here's another method. You can add this code, or you can use a plugin like Adminimize, which gives you the option to hide the admin bar for non-admin users. Isn't that amazing? It went out and found me a plugin option if I couldn't make the code work. That's just right. Amazing. But here, okay, here we go. If current user can administrator and is not, if they're not an administrator and they're not admin, that's even worse. That's not even close to correct. This only works for administrators. Editors should be able to see the admin bar too. You're correct. My response only hides the admin bar for not administrators. So let's look at what it did again. If current user can administrator and current user can editor and is admin, we're still not getting it right. Shouldn't that be a double pipe instead? You're correct. So it's, you know, it takes some time and you got to know a little bit. It didn't do very well with this. Corrected code, and it still did the and, so that was a problem. And so I just gave up and made that a double pipe. and it worked with what they gave me. So you have to know a little bit. You have to know a little bit. And the question from Fabian, doesn't the exclamation mark mean not? Yeah, and that's what it's saying. So if the current user is not an administrator and is not an editor, then hide the admin bar. Ben said, Barney says, I'd already used the plugin. But it just took a little bit of working, but we finally got something close to the right thing. So I had another project I was working on where we only wanted to hide the admin bar if it was the role partner. And so this one, it worked exactly. So hide the admin bar. If the current user is partner, then show admin bar false. So that worked right out of the gate, no problems. So then what I said was, make this a plugin, please. And I even misspelled please. And so here it gave me the full code for the plugin. And it says, save the file and activate the plugin from the WordPress Oh, here, create a folder, name it this, create a file, add this, like it gives you step-by-step how to create the plugin, paste this code in the PHP file, and activate the plugin. Pretty cool. Please note the role partner is not a default. Like it figured this out. Like we had customly, we had ourselves added a role called partner into this website, but it even caught the fact that, hey, this is not a default role for WordPress. So you're going to need to make sure that's set up already. That's pretty cool. Now watch this. As a matter of best practice, I always prefix functions in plugins with NI if it's a personal one, or BWW if it's an agency one. So I said, please prefix the function with NI. And so it did that, where it added the prefix. That way you don't have bumping functions with other things. So yeah, it fixed that. There you go. Pretty amazing, right? So that's kind of the journey through. The more complicated the code, the more you're going to need to know to help it refine it. But in the end, it just wrote the plugin. Pretty amazing, right? How about another example? So this is interesting. How many of you, your mind absolutely explodes and you go to pieces over jQuery? Like, I just can't get my head around. There's too many squiggly brackets in jQuery for me. I just, for whatever reason, can't make, my mind does not compute jQuery. It absolutely drives me crazy. But jQuery does some cool things. Thankfully, ChatGPT knows way more about jQuery than I do. So let's just look at something basic, text replace with jQuery. Let me find that code. Code. Okay, replace. Okay, so this is just simple. Find me, write me a jQuery script that will replace every instance of WordPress lowercase in the page with WordPress that has appropriate capitals. Boom, there it is, done. Like that's it. Document ready function in body, replace WordPress with WordPress. Now I was confused about like the quotes and all of this. It explains some of that stuff here. So I want to be sure the text is WordPress and WordPress without the quotes. Like I didn't want it to look for WordPress in quotations and replace that. And so it verified that it's correct. Will the text that is replaced be WordPress in quotes or WordPress? The text that will be replaced is WordPress. This will search for the string WordPress, all lowercase, and replace it with WordPress with a capital W. That's what I wanted. How would this look with script tags around it so I can embed it with a page, in a page? Boom, there it is. Now I looked at this and thought, wait a minute, do we need to, like it realized we're in WordPress, so we might need to enqueue jQuery, which is what this first script is. So I said, oh, and it says, this assumes you've already included jQuery library. Do I need that first script tag in WordPress since it's already calling jQuery elsewhere? Well, it depends on whether the jQuery library has been loaded. To check and see if it's included, you can take a look there. You can put this in your theme and it'll let you know. So that was it, which in this case, you don't have to have this. You could just use this script and there it is. Absolutely amazing. Like Melanie, yes, like you could make a quick little jQuery to fix the ARIA role issue for buttons and things like that. Very, very cool stuff. How about a more advanced thing? Okay, so one of the things we like to do, I love, pardon me, I love a good footer, like with really nice menu silos and things in the bottom. And so I will usually make those with a series of WordPress menus that are indented. So like there's the menu, the silo menu titles at the top, and then there's subpages underneath it. And then when it renders on the front end, I change it with CSS. So it's just kind of a nice straight column with a bolded top, link. But the problem comes in of sometimes those aren't, like if it's a title, like a drop-down menu, like the title, the very top one, sometimes those aren't actually pages. It's just like a column title. So what you end up with is an A tag in that menu that doesn't have an href on it. And that's bad for accessibility. It's just bad HTML. So I want a jQuery that's going to replace A tags in the footer that don't have an href with a div tag instead. So in those cases where we're using a WordPress menu and it's an empty A tag that just is used for the title, like of the column of the menu, and there's no href in it, it's going to replace the A with a div. Okay. Let's look at that. Write a jQuery that replaces any A tags without an href that are inside the footer element with a div tag instead. There it is. And it works. It 100% works. Absolutely amazing. Can you make this a WordPress plugin? Sure. Boom. There it is. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy what this will do. It comments it for you. Basically, it's saying in the footer, if there's an A and there's no href, then replace this A with a div. And it 100% works. It blows my mind. How about this? How many of you struggle with regex or regex? Yeah, I'm gonna be consistent. It's a regular expression, therefore it is regex, just like a GIF is a GIF because it's a graphic, not peanut butter. Yes, so regular expressions. I love regular expressions, especially in Zapier automations, because they're just awesome. Let me find my regex. Yes. Okay. So Paul is in the chat. And I've got this really cool, Paul's in my advanced coaching group, and I've got this really cool Zap that whenever a video comes in from a Zoom call, it takes the video, it sticks it in Vimeo, and then it direct messages the person in Slack. But what I have to do, like, this is the name of the folder that Zoom video creates. Like, here's one. But what I need to do is extract the person's name from that folder name so that I know who to message, right? So create a regex expression, which is redundant, that selects a person's name from the following string where the person's name is Paul Taubman. The expression for that would be, and it's not quite right. So I gave it some more details. So in this string, there will always be a date at the beginning in this format, like that. In this case, it's that. Then there'll be a time string in this format. In this case, it's this. Then there'll be a time zone. In this case, it's GMT. Then there will be a person's name. In this case, it's Paul Taubman. Then there will be the text advanced one-on-one followed by a random series of number. This pattern will be the case every time. What I want is a regex that will always extract the person's name every time, no matter what other values in the pattern are. Boom. That works. It works. It absolutely works. So here's the next question. Wait a minute. What if this person's name has 3 words in it? No, it will not work if the person's name has 3 words. Here's a modified version of the expression that can handle names with an arbitrary number of words. And it 100% works, y'all. It 100% works. So those of you that ask what happens if you compliment it, you're pretty awesome. Thank you. I'm just a machine learning model, but I'm glad I could help. If you have any more questions, just feel free to ask. It's just absolutely amazing that this works. I used to hire people on Fiverr to write my regular expressions for me, and now I can just ask ChatGPT. It is absolutely unreal. Oh, goodness. So pretty interesting things. Now, one of the downsides about ChatGPT is it is frequently overwhelmed with traffic. Like, it's hard to get in, especially in the midday times. I'm really delighted and also somewhat surprised that we're able to access ChatGPT right now, because a lot of times right here during the middle of the day, it doesn't, like, you can't get in no matter what. So OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT, is experimenting with a premium level that guarantees access starting at $20 a month, but you can't just go buy it. There's a wait list. So there's the link. If you want to get this, you can sign up for the wait list here. And they are also, according to this TechCrunch article, exploring options for lower cost tiers, which is a good thing. So we'll see what happens. They're still kind of figuring this out on the finance side, but is it worth $20 a month for me to have access to this? Oh yeah, I'll do that all day long. I just hope I can get access to the beta. Let's talk a little bit about the future of AI in search. So if you've spent any time using ChatGPT, oh wait, before I do this, let me show you one thing. that I saw this in an example for ChatGPT. Pretend to be a text-based video game. How many of you are old geezers like me and you remember these old-timey computer text-based video games? Welcome to the text-based. You find yourself in a dense forest. The trees are tall. Which direction would you like to go? Left. You follow the path left, and it leads to a forest. The trees begin to thin out, and it becomes da-da-da. You approach the stream, you see a shiny water. Do you want to investigate? Yes. And you could just go on and on. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, Karen, it's like King's Quest. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. Absolutely amazing. I didn't want to leave without showing you that. So as you're using ChatGPT, you've probably noticed how a lot of what it does, it's similar to like a conversational search engine. But again, there are some limits. It's not aware of anything after 2021. It makes some mistakes in the output. But once you start using this a little bit, you can immediately see how this sort of conversational AI is going to make its way into search. And wouldn't you know that Bing, yes, there is another search engine on the world besides Google. Bing, Microsoft's search engine, is integrating GPT-4, which is the next upgrade from what ChatGPT is. Again, ChatGPT is based on GPT 3.5. So the next iteration of this learning model, GPT-4, is being integrated into Bing. And Bing is going to roll out at some point, I think it's early this year, an Ask Me Anything feature. It also has like a chat link at the top. What I would suggest you do if you're interested in this, there's a great YouTube video down here in the handout. About the 25-minute mark, you can start to see how this works, and it is amazing. It's like ChatGPT plus Bing's really good search results all kind of working together. Pretty amazing. Remember that Microsoft is a partner in OpenAI, and so they're leveraging all of this into the Bing search engine. There's a great article here in searchengineland.com about all of this. Now, some of the conversation is, well, this is just going to kill Google, right? Like people are already writing Google off. But let me tell you, Google's been working AI for years. They are not behind on any of this, so far as we can tell. They're just not showing their cards yet. So Google, apparently, according to news articles, is going to demonstrate its own search using a chat interface later this year. Its conversational technology is called Lambda. There's a few articles here I would recommend that you take a look at if you're interested in all of this. Now, here's where things get really interesting. How is this going to impact the future of search? So a lot of website owners in the last few years have already seen a traffic drop because of those, the rich snippets that take position 0. Like you ask a question and Google gives you the answer right there at the top of the search engine results. It does link back to the website that it came from, but people, honestly, a lot of times don't have a reason to go to that website because the answer that they're looking for is right there. What's going to happen when Google or some other GPT-based search like Bing starts learning all the information on everybody's website and just delivering the results? What is traffic going to look like? It's going to be interesting. What will happen when that search engine chatbot answers all those questions that your content was designed to answer, and it just learns the answer from your content? And yes, Michael, surely they're going to integrate ads right into it because that's how they're going to monetize, certainly. So don't know how this is going to work out, but certainly AI chat-based search is going to change the whole landscape of web search as we know it. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Now, Eric, that is an excellent point in the chat. What about copyright infringement? So you can just about guarantee that if companies are monetizing their search from content that they got from somebody else, some lawyer somewhere is going to figure out some way to have a class action lawsuit about this. That's probably going to happen too. We're just going to have to wait and see how it all shakes out. But this is coming. We're not going to stop it. I think later this year, we're going to be thinking AI just like it's always been around, and we'll have forgotten in many ways just how new this is to the world. It's just going to be part of our daily lives and search, I would imagine, by year's end. And we'll have to see how all the legal things shake out as well. Quite something. All right. So not only can you use AI for content generation, for code, like we've seen, you can also use it for image creation. Now, this is this part of the AI technology is not nearly as sophisticated, we'll say, as the content generation, as copywriting from AI. It's pretty amazing what some of these AI tools can do. I've given you a couple here. DALL-E is I would say, the best overall AI image generator. It is created by OpenAI. It is fairly fast. Takes less than a minute usually to generate your content. In the images it creates are not copyrighted. You can sign up for a free account. You get 50 image credits immediately, and then it refreshes with 15 image credits every month for free. And you can also purchase 115 credits for $15 at any time. Every prompt generates 4 different images, and those 4 images cost a total of 1 credit for all 4. The problem is they're not large images. The max size you can get is 1024 by 1024, which if you're wanting like a featured image that's page width, it's not big enough. And some of the images are distorted and just bad. So, it all just depends. So let's see if we can get DALL-E to work. How many of you have seen one of these AI image creators like DALL-E? Have you seen that before? We're going to do here's some of the examples. I would say this is like their Hall of Fame of cool generated things. Somebody give me something in the chat that we can search for. A guitar. More detail. A guitar besides some mushrooms. How about that? I saw guitar and mushrooms. Guitar beside some mushrooms. In an impressionist painter style. How about that? This is going to take a minute, and it's going to render us 4 images. Now, while that's working, there is another, this is a totally free open source alternative called Crayon. See what they did there? There's AI in the middle. Clever. Completely open source alternative to DALL-E. So we'll do the same thing, the same prompt in Crayon. Let's see what we get. This one does take a little bit longer. It is definitely ad driven. So DALL-E is still DALL-E is still thinking. When you use AI image generation, you get used to waiting. Still thinking. Look. Well, that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Kind of cool, actually. I am not unimpressed. So you can download these. This costs 1 credit. Kind of cool. Ask it to do a logo. I don't think it'll do that. Create logo for a mushroom company. How about that? While on the subject of mushrooms, let's see what Crayon did. Okay, so here's this is where you get, okay, I think that's supposed to be a guitar back there. The Crayon is not quite as good. The mushrooms aren't bad. This is a melted guitar. Not great. Okay, this is not terrible. You can't really tell that's a mushroom though. Okay, that's not bad. It's kind of a little wonky there, but this is, I mean, I could see using this. That's not bad. This one's interesting, more like a melted guitar and bread on a table. So yeah, I mean, this isn't terrible. That's supposed to be. This is probably the best. Kind of hard to tell that's mushrooms. It kind of looks like a cow might have walked by and left some things on the ground. I don't know. Yeah. So DALL-E is still thinking about our logo. What? Hey, Dave, it makes logos. Look at that. Interesting. Can it make them an SVG? No. You're gonna get pings and that's it. Melanie, yes, I thought the same thing. We're going to just move right along from that. This is a family show. Okay. So a couple of image generators, not too bad. So as you can imagine, a lot of these AI tools are making themselves, they're making their way into WordPress. There's a couple of them I want to show to you today. These are two of the better ones. When we did our search for plugins for our plugin roundup this month, we came up with like 4 or 5 that were just added this month that are interesting. But these are some that have thousands of users. They've been around a little while. They're probably the two of the better ones that are out there. I don't want to say other ones aren't good, but they've kind of been around a little while. They have a bit of a track record, and it's Bertha AI and Get Genie. And so I want to show you a little bit of these and how they work. We don't have a lot of time left, but just so you can get a very basic idea of how this works. I may just do Get Genie. To show you some examples. Now you do have to attach a license for this to Get Genie. Just go out and you sign up. There's a free level and you come back. It's a simple authentication process to get your license in. And so I'm just going to click here. What are we writing? You want a blog, a WooCommerce wizard? I'm going to do a WooCommerce wizard because there's a WooCommerce store on this site. This is our Marvel-based new WP Nathan site. We have a fun little store with some things in it. Somebody give me a Marvel superhero that you like. We're going to do a WooCommerce wizard. Give me a Marvel superhero that you like. Let's do Black Panther. And let's see, what is Black Panther's thing? Like he has those claw, like he has a suit, right? The suit is really the thing for Black Panthers. Let's say Black Panther. We just add in some keywords. Black Panther suit, power suit, maybe. Does he have something else? Black Panther. I can't remember if there's some other. I think it's just the suit. So the product brief. Let's see. Black Panther power suit. Let's spell that correctly. Protection, agility, etc. Okay, so there's our tone. There's more tone that's coming. We're just going to leave it at that. Let's generate a product title first of all. Oh no, I exceeded my subscription limit. Okay, well, we're not going to demonstrate this today. Doggone. Okay, let me see if I saved the product that I generated earlier. I bet I deleted it completely. I did. Bummer. Okay, so anyway, it steps you through. It lets you generate the title and you can push it over to the product, generate the long and the short description to put it, and you just push it right over to the product. It's pretty cool. It works well as long as you have enough credits to make it work, which apparently I don't. And then we also have Bertha.ai. Let's deactivate Get Genie and activate Bertha. I hope I didn't use all my Bertha credits. Tinkering. That's a bummer. Sorry about that, y'all. All right, so let's jump into Bertha. All right, launch Bertha. So it hasn't asked me anything sort of situation about how to do things. You can just use their chat bot right there. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start with long form content. So write an enticing title. Let's do Black Panther. If I can type correctly. Black Panther saves the day. And I want to start just to generate some text. Let's see. Write a short story about how Black Panther, let's see, write a 200-word story about how Black Panther saves Wakanda. And I'd already defined my brand within the Bertha settings of Marvel Universe enthusiasts, what tone to use, etc. Keywords, Black Panther, Wakanda, and adamantium. Generate text. So this one is a little bit slow, but it will start to push in some writing prompts for you. Winsley, does it support different languages? I don't know if Bertha does or not. We can go and look at the settings. All right, so we have some basic prompts here to start out with. We also have some copy generation templates. Like, if you're writing persuasive articles, product benefit lists, and a full about us page, bios, FAQs, etc. So you got a lot of different blog post outline. Let's do that one. It'll take just a second to think through this. There's an outline, and it gives us several options here, so we can take a look at those. Let's just say we like this one. Whoops. I accidentally had my cursor in the wrong place. That is one little usability thing that I imagine as I use this more, I would get used to it, but you got to click here and then click. So it'll drop in the outline there, which are writing prompts for you to continue to write with. So it's interesting. Take some playing around with, but that is Bertha.ai. Get Genie is very similar. Bertha does also have an art. It has a chat bot that you can train with your site to kind of add in your pages and post content, and it can learn how to answer questions and so forth. Really interesting to take a look at. So let's keep going down the list here. There are some other more niche AI tools to consider. There's some amazing things out there, y'all, like mindgrasp.ai. If you have a student in your family, this is an AI that is designed for students. It's question and answer, but it's also really good at summarizing text, audio, video. Like you can upload a video of a class and it will process that and give you a summary of what was talked about. It's amazing. An outlining and note-taking tool based on audio and video recordings. It's $10 a month, which honestly for a student and all the things it could do is pretty low cost. There's also this tool called video.ai that is aimed at podcasters and marketers. So you can upload full videos of a podcast and it will, with AI, pull out what it thinks are the highlights, the snippets, into little shareable bits of video. It has a free level that will produce 720p videos, 75 minutes a month. It's pretty good. Plenty to test the tool. Otherwise, it starts, at some higher costs every month. This is a very small investment for what this could do for you. There's another one here called Scribe. That's an AI tool that is focused on creating task and process tutorials. Now, there's another one that I just heard about. I can't remember what, Tango, I think it's called. That is similar to this, but it looks like this is a better tool than Tango. So basically, you record a process on stepping through how to use your website, and Scribe is watching in the background. And from the recording of the process, it generates text and screenshots where you clicked and points out places you're supposed to click and that sort of thing. Absolutely cool. It is free with branding for web applications. So anything you do on or in a browser, it's free, like totally free. And then if you need to do desktop apps, it's $23 per user per month. So pretty cool. Tome is focused on brand storytelling. It does a lot. It uses the DALL-E for image generation. This is one that I thought was super interesting. It is called Motion. Actually, it's been around a little while. I started to try it a little while ago and I just ran out of time and didn't really get into it. But this uses AI to look at your to-do lists, your calendar, project management tools, and then uses its AI to plan your day. Now, they claim they can save you 30 days a year by intelligently planning things. So this is really interesting. And if you're a productivity geek like me, I would recommend just go over there and look at usemotion.com. They do have a 7-day free trial for you to play with. It's interesting. Paul, yes, it does require the use of Google Calendar, not iCal. iCal doesn't play well with others very, very well. So that's why. Just check it out. It's pretty neat. Let me give you a couple of final resources, then we'll hit questions and wrap things up. This is like a big, giant directory of all things AI. It is updated daily with new AI tools. It is many, many, many things, many of which are garbage, some of which are cool. So it's all out there. That's futurepedia.io. Just, when you have some time, play around with it and kind of dig in. But this last one, let me just tell you, this is probably the greatest GPT tool that is out there. It is called ChatGPT. Somebody give me a question to ask in the chat to this incredible GPT tool. Give me a why is the sky blue? Thank you, Patricia. Why is the sky blue? The answer is meow, meow, meow. Sue says, why did the dog cross the road? The answer is meow, 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 meow. There you go. So yeah, this is clearly the best GPT tool that is available. You're welcome. So look down here at the bottom. This site was created by Walter Van Dyke with some help from ChatGPT. My guess is this guy said, write me a chat app that just responds with a random number of meows to whatever anybody types in. I don't know. I just found that to be very, very funny. So that is our little journey into the world of AI and what's going on. Probably some neat things to play with today. Imagine what AI is going to be like later this year. So let me circle over to the questions. If you have a question you haven't asked yet, pop open the Q&A and I'll spend the next 4 or 5 minutes answering some questions. Let's see. For those of you looking for the document, the handout that's on the screen now, I just dropped it into the chat. Also, yes, there will be a replay along with the chat log, everything that's been shared in the chat, and the transcript. That'll be available in about an hour at the link that I just dropped into the chat. Stacy, is there a code validator tool? I'm sure there is one on the web, Stacy. You just Google it. But, I think you saw the refining process. You do have to know what you're talking about. And even with a code validator tool, it might not always give you exactly what you want. So you do have to have some basic knowledge. What these chat tools, what these AI tools can do is kind of get you 90% of the way there, and then you can tweak from there. And that's true of code, or it's true of copy, all of those things. Let's see. Karen, is there an AI that will create PowerPoint slide decks that would be helpful? That I haven't seen one, Karen, but that would be cool, wouldn't it? I haven't seen one like that. Eric, for the paid models, do you pay if you don't download the images? Yes, Eric, great question. So for DALL-E and other AI image generators, you pay when the image is generated. So it has nothing to do with whether you download it or not. You're using the horsepower of the AI engine to generate the images. It doesn't care if you download them or not. It just is what it is. So for example, with DALL-E, when we gave it a prompt and it gave us those 4 images, that cost me 1 credit for all 4, a total of 1 credit for all 4. I can download those, all of them, one of them, none of them, it doesn't matter. Let's see, Paul, will ChatGPT give me an answer to crack my master password? Okay, let's give it a try, because why not? Wait a minute, wrong window. We can ask ChatGPT. And there's your answer, Paul. Meow, 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 meow. Let's do a new chat. And it's still up. That's amazing. All right, crack my master password. Let's take the quotes off. I bet it's going to say I'm not allowed to do that. It's thinking. Paul, you just broke ChatGPT, buddy. Yeah, you just broke ChatGPT. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. We just confused ChatGPT. Let's try again. Yes. Okay. So you'll get a lot of, this is a familiar response As a responsible AI language model, I cannot assist with illegal or unethical activities like cracking passwords. But it does say to use a strong and unique password, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, interesting. Britta, what is the difference between chat.openai.com and platform.openai.com? So platform is, so first, chat.openai.com is ChatGPT, what we've been playing with. Platform is, so like, for example, the AI WordPress plugin, Get Genie, requires an OpenAI API key. So you go to platform or openai.com/API, you log in, you create an account, you put in some billing information, and it will generate an API key for you that you then can pick up and use in a tool like this Get Genie. So there's a lot of tools that are using the OpenAI and their GPT knowledge and just kind of connecting to that for their output in whatever application they're using. Yeah. And it's very inexpensive. It's like images are like half a cent a piece. That, I mean, they're very, very cheap. And you can set a budget in your account for how much you want, you know, maximum amount per month that you would spend and that sort of thing. Fabian, are the WordPress AI plugins currently aimed at writing content, or are there some to help with WordPress development, debugging, checking? Great question. So the Bertha AI plugin has that Ask Me Anything feature. You can ask it WordPress questions and it will answer. Also, the Get Genie has a WordPress Q&A section where I don't know how good, I haven't tested that yet, but it is, the Get Genie in particular is connecting to OpenAI, and it is, I would imagine you can do the same sort of conversations as you can with ChatGPT. I don't know. I haven't tested that, but you can certainly in Get Genie ask it how to do WordPress type questions. So does that help? Yeah. Let's see. Last question, Ben. Any good AI tools on AppSumo you've tried? So yeah, the Phrase tool, Phrase. I don't think it's on AppSumo anymore, but I did grab this when it was on AppSumo. It does this is a really good UI aimed at SEO content generation. It's not garbage generation. It was really good. I still need to play with it some, but there's AI tools all over AppSumo. And honestly, all of them are likely just connecting to OpenAI. That's what they're doing. And so, you know, you can oftentimes, those tools on AppSumo are just putting a UI on top of an AI engine like OpenAI. They're not creating their own AI, most of them. So often you can just get the same results from ChatGPT. Dave is saying, I had it right, a WordPress plugin that looks pretty good. Then I asked it to explain one of the functions it called, and it gave a clear explanation. Yeah, it's amazing. It's just amazing what this thing can do. All right, everybody, we're way over time. This was fun, wasn't it? These AI tools are amazing. And we're in the early days of AI. Imagine what it's going to look like this time next year. Goodness, it's going to be quite something. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us today. We're back tomorrow for office hours for our members. So I'll see you back here tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock for office hours with me here on iThemes Training, where we go further together.